The bus stop bear. Welcome back, and if you're new, I'm the untold host, and tonight's topic, a human skin teddy bear. Alright, so buckle up, because this one is truly grim. It's not about ghosts or monsters in the woods. This is about the darkness that can take root inside a person, and the utterly, inexplicably horrific things they can do. This happened a few years back, in a quiet, almost sleepy part of Portland, Oregon. Not the trendy, bustling downtown, but one of those older neighborhoods with narrow streets, overgrown Victorian houses, and bus stops that feel almost forgotten. Our story begins with Peter Maxwell. Peter was a bus driver. Not just any bus driver, but the kind who knew his route like the back of his hand, knew the regulars by name, and had a cheerful, almost grandfatherly demeanor. He'd driven the same late-night Route 17 for nearly 20 years. It was a route that wound through both residential areas and some of the more industrial outskirts, usually pretty empty after midnight. Peter had seen a lot of strange things in his 2 decades on the night shift. Drunks, arguments, even a couple of impromptu sing-alongs. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared him for what he found on the night of October 23rd. It was a chilly, misty night, the kind where the fog hangs low, making the streetlights look like blurry halos. Peter was on his final loop just after 2 a.m. The bus was completely empty. He was looking forward to getting home, kicking off his shoes and having a cup of tea. He was approaching a bus stop near an old derelict factory, a stop that rarely saw any passengers. As his headlights cut through the fog, he saw something on the bench, something unusual. It looked like a teddy bear. Now, that itself wasn't too strange. Kids sometimes left toys, but this one was big, almost human-sized, and it was sitting upright, perfectly still, facing away from the street, as if waiting for a bus that would never come. Peter pulled the bus to a gentle stop. Curiosity, mixed with a faint prickle of unease, got the better of him. He opened the bus door, the compressed air hissing, and stepped out onto the damp pavement. As he got closer, his heart began to thump a little harder in his chest. The fog swirled around the bench, partially obscuring the bear, making it seem to shimmer in the dim light. It wasn't a normal teddy bear, it was human. The fur wasn't plush. It looked mottled, discolored, and the stitching, particularly around the head and limbs, was thick, crude, almost like it had been done by hand with heavy twine. Peter took another step, then another. The street was utterly silent, just the soft hiss of the bus engine and the drip of moisture from the trees. He stopped directly in front of the bench. The bear was sitting, its back to him. He could see the rough seams running down its back, the odd texture of its skin. And then, he saw the back of its head. It wasn't fabric, it was a scalp, complete with a patch of dark, matted hair. Peter's stomach lurched. A wave of nausea washed over him. He felt the blood drain from his face, leaving him cold despite the damp air. This wasn't a teddy bear. This was made of something else, something organic, something sickeningly familiar. He forced himself to walk around to the front of the bench. As he did, the fog seemed to momentarily lift, revealing the full horror. It was, unmistakably, a human-sized figure, stitched together into the rough shape of a teddy bear. Its face was formed from what looked like a stretched, sewn-together piece of human skin, with 2 dark, mismatched buttons sewn on for eyes and a crudely stitched smile. The limbs were oddly proportioned, thick and lumpy, clearly not stuffed with cotton, and the skin, it was discolored, patchy, some areas pale, some mottled with a purplish hue, some covered in fine dark hairs. And the smell, it was faint, almost imperceptible in the damp, cool air, but it was there. A faint, cloying, metallic scent, like a butcher shop, but old. And mingled with it, something sickly sweet. Peter gagged. He stumbled back, bumping into the side of his bus. His mind screamed, "This isn't real. This can't be real." But the bus stop bear sat there, silent, grotesque, staring with its button eyes into the swirling fog. Peter didn't know what to do. His first instinct was to run, to drive away and pretend he never saw it. But he couldn't. This was too horrific to ignore. He fumbled for his radio, his hands trembling so violently he almost dropped it. "Dispatch. This is Route 17, Unit 407. I need police to the bus stop at Elm and 14th, immediately. And you might want to send forensics. This is not a drill." His voice was hoarse, strained. Dispatch, usually calm and professional, seemed to pick up on his terror. Copy that, 407. What's the nature of the emergency? Peter took a ragged breath, forcing the words out. I found something. On the bench. It's a teddy bear. Made of human skin. Silence on the other end. Then, a stunned, say again, 407? You heard me, Peter choked out. Just get here, please. Within minutes, the street was flooded with blue and red flashing lights. Patrol cars, then a CSI van, then detectives. The bus stop was cordoned off. The fog, the silence, the horrific object on the bench, it all created a scene straight out of a nightmare. Peter gave his statement, trying to sound coherent, trying to explain the unexplainable. The police were grim-faced, professional, but even they seemed shaken by the sheer depravity of what had been found. The bus stop bear was carefully removed, handled like a biological hazard. It was confirmed, every part of it, from the matted hair to the crude button eyes, was constructed from human remains. Multiple individuals, forensic pathologists would later confirm, stitched together into a grotesque mockery of a child's toy. It was the work of a deeply disturbed individual. The news hit the city like a shockwave. Human skin teddy bear found at bus stop. The headlines were sensational, horrifying. The public was sick and terrified. Who would do this? Why? And from whom were these materials sourced? The investigation began. It was a macabre puzzle. The police had no leads, no witnesses, just the bear. Peter Maxwell, the unassuming bus driver, became a minor local celebrity, a reluctant witness to an unimaginable horror. He tried to go back to his route, but every time he approached that bus stop, he felt a fresh wave of nausea. He eventually took early retirement. He couldn't shake the image of those button eyes. But the story doesn't end there, because what happened next made the whole thing even more chilling. About 2 weeks after the discovery, a package arrived at the Portland Police Department. It was addressed simply to Detective Miller, the lead investigator on the bus stop bear case. Inside the package, there was no return address, no note, just a single item, a child's drawing. It was drawn in crayon on wrinkled construction paper, a naive, childlike rendering of a stick figure holding hands with a large, smiling brown teddy bear, and in the corner of the drawing, scrawled in uneven block letters, was a name, Arthur. Detective Miller stared at the drawing. He showed it to his team. Everyone was puzzled. A child's drawing? What did it mean? Was it a clue? A taunt? They ran the drawing through every database, checked with every school, every missing child report. Nothing. No missing child named Arthur whose drawing matched the style. A few days later, another package arrived, identical to the first, also addressed to Detective Miller. Inside, another child's drawing. This one showed the same stick figure, the same smiling teddy bear. But this time, the stick figure had drawn itself with a single tear rolling down its face, and beneath the drawing, in the same uneven block letters, lonely. A cold dread began to settle over Detective Miller and his team. This wasn't random. This was personal. Someone was playing a game, a sick, twisted game. The packages continued to arrive, sporadically, always without a return address, always addressed to Detective Miller, each containing a new drawing. One showed the stick figure holding the teddy bear, but the bear now had its button eyes replaced with two small, perfectly drawn black X's. The caption, "Sleepy." Another drawing showed the stick figure and the bear sitting on a bench, a bus stop. The caption, "Waiting." The drawings were always unsettling, always cryptic, and always, undeniably, from the same hand. A child's hand, or someone mimicking a child's hand. They tried everything to trace the packages. Surveillance at mailboxes, forensic analysis of the paper, the crayons. Nothing. The packages just appeared, like clockwork. The public, mercifully, was kept in the dark about the drawings. The police didn't want to cause a full-blown panic, but within the police department, the Arthur drawings became a source of intense, chilling fascination and frustration. The creepiest part was the consistency. The Arthur character, the teddy bear, the same style, the same ominous one-word captions. It felt like a fragmented narrative, a dark, unspoken story being told through childlike art. Then, about 6 months after the initial discovery of the bus stop bear, the packages stopped. Abruptly, no more drawings. The case went cold. The human skin teddy bear remained an unsolved, horrific mystery. Peter Maxwell retired. The bus stop was eventually removed, replaced with a different kind of shelter. Life, as it always does, moved on, but Detective Miller never forgot. He kept the drawings in a locked file, a constant reminder of the depravity he had witnessed. He'd occasionally pull them out, staring at the innocent-looking stick figure, the smiling bear, the chilling captions. And he would always wonder about Arthur. Who was Arthur? The child who drew the pictures, the victim represented by the skin, or the creator of the monstrous bear, a twisted individual leaving breadcrumbs of their sick fantasy? He'd tried every angle. Could Arthur be the source of the skin? Was he the one who was sleepy, or was Sleepy the bear itself? The most unsettling theory, the one that sometimes kept Detective Miller awake at night, was this. What if Arthur wasn't the child? What if Arthur was the man who made the bear? What if the drawings weren't a clue from a child, but a glimpse into the fractured, disturbed mind of the creator? A serial killer, perhaps, who saw his victims not as people, but as materials for his macabre creations. A monster who, in his own twisted reality, was lonely and waiting for companionship, constructing it from the very flesh of those he took. A monster who found his art sleepy, and the most chilling thought of all. The packages stopped, not because he was caught, but because he was done, or perhaps because he had found a new project, a new medium, a new companion. The case of the bus stop bear remains unsolved to this day, and sometimes when the fog rolls into Portland, Peter Maxwell, now living a quiet, isolated life, still sees it in his mind's eye, that grotesque human-skinned teddy bear, sitting patiently on the cold bus stop bench, its button eyes staring blankly into the mist, forever waiting for its bus to arrive. And he knows, with a chilling certainty, that some horrors don't just happen. They are carefully, meticulously crafted.
Side-eye in your closet. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll never miss a tale untold every day.